How's it going, class? I'm Jesse Olinsky. This is my introductory presentation. I'm 41 years old, and I was born in Hamtramck, Michigan, which is pretty much inside Detroit. If you know anything about that area, like maybe 5 miles from downtown Detroit. And went to Detroit schools, living in others in Detroit. And didn't go too well going to school there, got in a lot of fights with kids, just in everyday life, fighting to survive, dealing with any problems that come at me. And once I moved out of Detroit, lived in Redford, and would live with just band members that I jammed with, things like that. And of course, it's a party lifestyle, so a lot of us would have problems with rent money, things like that, and you have different people moving in and different people hanging out, and just pretty crazy way to go. And then I'd live with his girlfriends wherever they lived, Warren, Livonia, Westland, back in Redford, and pretty much I didn't go to a lot of school, and one time when I went to jail, part of my sentence was to get a GED. So when I was 18, I got a GED, and that actually went pretty easy. Had a pretty cool teacher, so it made things a lot easier. And from there, my parents divorced when I was 4 years old, and things probably weren't going too well before that. Didn't see my dad too much growing up. Maybe the last time I saw him was 7, and he was living in Arizona, and just not a part of anything out of the picture, you could say. And I found out that he died in 2000. He didn't have any fingerprints on his hands, and was a career criminal. So he was 50 years old when he went out, and obviously things weren't going well for him. And then growing up, I lived with various my mom's boyfriends, things like that. So that was pretty weird. They were all jerks, and never had much of no father figure, role model to kind of guide me. So I lived on the streets and raised myself, and didn't really care for school too much. So I was hoping to do something with music, but a lot of people lack dedication, and they have various reasons why they end up quitting. Some end up in jail, a couple of dudes ended up dead, they move out of town, they get married or have kids, so they got a lot of things they want to do, and that kind of kept me starting from, beginning every time, going back to the drawing board, you could say. And so aside from that, I have a brother who's younger than me, a lot different, so we don't really hang out too much. And aside from that, not really much other family. Grandfather, he's dead. He was a hardcore, mobster, criminal type guy. And grandma was cool, but he didn't treat her well, and she went out at a pretty young age just from stress and the torture of having a bad marriage with my grandfather. So that was probably crazy for them. And from there, I just had a lot of different jobs, worked whatever. Just stuff like I worked at 7-Eleven before, worked at restaurants. Over the last 15 years, the job I mainly have done is a machine shop. I do CNC, press brake, lathe, things like that. It stands for computer numerical control machining, also welding. And the types of welding I do is gas welding, arc welding, and the main version, which is MIG welding. You have a foot pedal and a handheld trigger operated form of welding. So once you hit the pedal, it allows the weld to come out, and then you hit the trigger, and you can spot weld where you need to. That's the main form. For bigger things, you use arc welding, and gas welding is anything from a lighter flame to a torch that comes out, and you just feed a weld into that, and you can weld different metal products together, and that's in Westland. So I'm not sure I'm going to be sticking with that. Before I pretty much went to school, that's what I've been doing. I went into debt living with my last girlfriend, like serious anyways, and taking care of everything on my own money, my own finances. She has two autistic kids with another guy, so I ran into taking care of that situation and went into about $3,000 into debt, just having excess bills, and I'm under 250 out of debt now, so I'm like almost there, and it's been a while, because I gotta pay for rent and bills, things like that, and just maintenance, things like that. And something about me that you probably wouldn't know is that I consider myself a Satanist, and what that means is that I don't worship anything or anybody, and I pretty much believe in free spirit, free will, and the satanic philosophy, which is, if you don't like doing something, you try not to do it. If you like doing things, you don't let weird concepts or just crazy standards get in the way of what you want to do while you have your limited time on Earth. And the philosophy is also to kind of leave people alone, not hurt anyone that doesn't deserve it. But of course, if they deserve it, you want to take your chances, you can go ahead and do what you want to do. And I don't really care if people have other religions. I'm liberal, but I wouldn't confuse that with left-winger. And I really hate when Republicans sneeringly use the word liberal as if it means left-winger, which it doesn't. And I also hate right-wingers. And I guess if I had to deal with one or the other, I'd prefer left-wingers. But I'm definitely liberal. What that means is I accept the LGBT community, whatever, LBGT. I don't hang out with them too much, but I don't care what they do, I mean, it's not for me, but if that's how they are, I don't have a problem with it. And as long as people aren't hurting anyone else, I don't care what they do, as long as it's consensual, and I don't care what you look like or whatever. I mean, none of that's a problem. I'd rather everybody look kind of punked out or kind of crazy looking, but whatever. That's just not going to work, If you got tattoos on your face and a bunch of piercings, that's cool with me. So, that's my presentation, and see you next time.